So many Americans began to ask what had gone wrong. To a lot of people, and this was a common phrase at the time, America was, quote, a sick society built on repression and hypocrisy and injustice and inequality. But there are others on the other side of the divide who said, you know, it was young people and their intellectual leaders who didn't appreciate what they were given, who were spoiled, and who looked down upon the middle-class society that gave them their relative comfort and privilege. You had two competing perspectives on what was going on in American society at that moment in time, and ultimately those would be the two competing perspectives that would sort of frame the culture wars later on in the decades to come. Of course, it was also hard to ignore when 1968 comes about and there's assassinations in Vietnam and race riots and student unrest and Chicago police riots. It's hard to ignore that this was a decade of violence, okay? And insofar as people wondered what was wrong with America, if America was a violent country, what had we become? We'd become a country that cared about body counts and sent soldiers out to say, you will win this war the more people you kill. And therefore, you have things like My Lai come out, where people said, gosh, I'm motivated to get the most people dead on the other side because that's what our generals were telling us is how we're going to win this war. Assassinations, three of our most powerful, visionary, magnetic, charismatic leaders taken from us at that moment in time. Riots, race riots, cities burning, Washington, D.C. under military occupation, police brutality, loss of national heroes. There's a lot going on at that time. My gosh, how do you process all of that? And think about America as a society that always likes to roll up its sleeves and accomplish things. It's a can-do country. Yet we really didn't know how to deal with all these problems that seem to be cascading one after the next after the next. How do you deal with all this stuff? What do you do? So to some people, you get in the bunker and you try and withstand it and deal with it. To other people, you try to change it, but it seems too big to change. It was very, very powerful for anybody who was an idealist wanting to reshape this country at that time. And we like to sort of see ourselves as a fundamentally moral country. Yet, we were dropping napalm on people, burning their skin, and we were defoliating villages in Vietnam, and we had immense poverty in our cities, and we had race as the continuing original sin, and discrimination and raw bigotry, and they all sort of reflected in a mirror our own sense and our own self-image as a moral nation at that moment in time.